Hi everyone. So friends, in this lecture, we will be looking into the demonstration of @value source annotation, and we will see that how we can use this annotation and provide different arguments in a form of an array to our @parameterized test method. So here in our JUnit 5 project, in our source folder, I will be creating one class. Let's say I give a name to it as calculator. I will be keeping it in a package as com.hubspot.junit5.example. We'll click finish. So friend, let's say in our calculator class, I am creating a method, say public boolean, and the name of the method I give is even number. So friend, this method will return a boolean value. It simply checks that whether the provided number is even number or not. So here inside this method we can simply return number if divided by 2 gives remainder as 0, then it's an even number, and if the remainder is not 0, then it's an odd number, so we'll simply return false. So friends, now let's test this method using @parameterized test. So in our test folder, I will be creating one test class. We'll give a name to it as value source demo, and I will keep it in a package com.hubspot.junit5.parameterized test.value source. We'll click finish. So friend, inside this test class, we will be seeing the demonstration of @parameterized test and @value source annotation. So friend, inside this test class, let's say I create a method as test even values. So friend, let's say we annotate this method with @test. We'll import @test, and inside this method, what we'll do, we'll simply create instance of calculator class. And let's say we test is even number method. So here what we need to do is we need to call is even number, and we need to provide a value. Let's say we provide a value as 2, and as 2 is a even number, we need to provide an assert. Let's say assert true, because we know that 2 is an even number, and is even number method will return true when we pass the value as 2. So we are asserting it should be true using assert true method. So if I run this test case, so friends, here you can see that our test case got executed successfully because 2 is a even number and our assertion got passed. So friends, here you can see that this is only one value which we have provided. Now let's say if we want to test for different values, so what we used to do is we used to provide different asserts like this. Let's say I give value as 4, 6, 8, 12. So we know that all these are even numbers and we want to test is even number method. So in order to test that method, we need to provide different asserts, something like this, that we are calling the same method. The only change is we are simply providing a different argument to our asserts. If I run the test case now, so here you can see the test case got executed successfully because these all are even numbers. So friends, one disadvantage here is if you want to test any method with different arguments, we need to repeat these asserts. And another disadvantage is, let's say, if I call is even number with a value 7, and if I run this test case, so here you can see that our test case got failed, throwing an assertion failed error, saying expected true but was false. So here you can see that it threw this exception at line number 20, which is this line. So friend, as soon as our assertion got failed, the test case got failed, and it didn't get even chance to execute these two lines. So friend, this is also one of the disadvantage, that whenever our assertion fails, our test case simply gets failed, throwing an assertion failed error, and whatever the code is written after that assertion never gets executed. So friend, this problem can be solved by using @parameterized test. So what we can do is, so here we'll simply copy this method, we'll paste it below, and here we'll give the name as test even values, using parameterized test. And here instead of @test, we will be providing @parameterized test, because we want to execute this method by passing in different parameters. So we need to annotate it with @parameterized test. So let's say I remove these asserts. So friends, here you can see that we have simply provided an annotation @parameterized test. So if I run this test case, you can see it gave an error saying that no test found with test runner JUnit 5. So here you can see that our test case got errors saying it threw precondition violation exception, and it says that it's an configuration error. It also says you must configure at least one set of arguments for this @parameterized test. So friends, we also discussed that whenever we use @parameterized test, we need to provide a source to it. So here we'll provide @value source, we'll import it. So friend, if we look into this annotation, you will find that it takes different arguments in a form of an array, and we can provide different values such as bytes, chars, classes, doubles, floats, ints, longs, shorts and strings. So here let's say we are testing about even numbers, so we will be using the int array. So here we can provide different values set 2, 4, 6, 8 in a form of an array. And also friends, as we are providing these values in a form of an array, we need to inject these values inside this test case. So this test case will take an integer value, let's say number. And now instead of providing a value like this to our asserts, we can simply provide number. So friend, if we run this test case now, so here you can see it shows that our @parameterized test, which is test even values using @parameterized test, got executed successfully, and it also shows that there are 4 tests with different arguments, say 2, 4, 6 and 8. So here there are 4 tests with a name as first parameter and the value, second parameter and the value, third parameter and the value, and fourth parameter and the value. So here the first parameter has value 2, second has 4, third has 6 and fourth has 8. So friends, here you can see the advantage of providing @parameterized test. Instead of writing this many assets multiple times with different values, we can simply provide different values like this, and we can simply call assert true once. So friends, let's say if I provide a value as 10 and here if I provide a value as 7. So if I run this test case now, so friends, here you can see that our test case got failed because we have provided one odd value as 7, and here you can see that it shows that fifth parameter having value as 7 gave assertion failed error. It expected it to be true but was false because we have provided an odd value to our method. So it returned a boolean value as false because 7 is not an even number. But friends, you can see the advantage that it also ran for the value 10, which it got skipped here. So as soon as in our test, if we used something like this, then our assertion failed and the test case got failed without executing these values. But here our test case got failed, but it also executed it for value 10, so that we can provide multiple different values and we can only correct those values for which our test case is failing, rather than correcting one at a time and moving ahead. So friends, in this lecture we saw the advantage of using @parameterized test. We also saw the demonstration of @value source, that how we can provide different values in a form of an array using @value source annotation. And we also saw that how @parameterized test helps us in writing less code like this. So friends, I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.